recording. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. The first thing we're going to do is ask, what do you want to get out of today? What questions do you have about DTD2?
Base management, how to
Right.
manage my list.
Okay. How to manage my database. Well, you are in the right spot. How about you?
It's my first time with DTD2.
Yeah. So how about we start with what it is? That sound good? What is it? What is DTD2? So this is an acronym that stands for Do the Database To.
Oh,
Do the database to. Okay, which should probably lead you to ask the question, what's the database to? Right? And so what that means is it's 2 letters of the alphabet that we call each week. How many letters are there in the alphabet?
26.
26. So if I call 2 a week, how many weeks will that last for me to go through the entire alphabet?
13.
13 weeks. How many weeks are in a quarter? About 12 to 13, right? Which means at the end of each quarter, it's time to start over again. And so those first 2 letters of the alphabet that you start with haven't heard from you in 12 weeks, okay? So the intention of DTD2 is not to be the only time you communicate with them, because that would be them hearing from you once every 3 months. That's not enough, okay? So this is in addition. This is voice to voice. There's a lot of touches that you can do. In fact, Keller Williams recommends the system. You need to talk to everybody in your database a minimum of how many times per year? A minimum of 36 times per year. Some examples of that are monthly newsletters, pop buys, social media, invites to events, letting them know about open houses that you're holding, letting them know about new listings you've got, letting them know about community events. There's a million different things. You could come up with more than 36 touches just by implementing these 7 things that I just wrote on the board, or 8 things. These can be through social media, this can be face-to-face, this can be text, this can be email. This is the minimum one time a quarter you need to call them. This is a voice-to-voice interaction system, okay? So, having said that, what's the next question you have?
why?
What? Why? So why do we want to talk to them at least once a quarter?
To maintain contact.
To maintain contact. You're going to stay top of mind with them. If we don't talk to people, they forget about us. I know it was shocking to me to discover that I was not the center of the universe, but it's true, right?
Yeah.
We are not the center of their universe. And so if we don't maintain contact with them, A, they forget about us, but B, the relationship grows farther and farther apart,
Brand,
right? Yeah.
building our brand.
Building your brand, right? And so this voice to voice though, this is the relationship. It's one thing to send a newsletter. It's one thing to invite them to places. It's another thing to let them know about new listings and community events. But this is just a call to them as a human being. Okay? And this is at a minimum. The system DTD2 also eliminates call bias. Do you guys know what that is?
You know, call.
It eliminates call bias. Call bias, and we all do it, whether we realize it or not, we all have call bias. And I'll give you an example. Have you ever gone through the phone and gone, as you're lead generating and said, I'm not going to call them. They're not going to be buying a house this year. I'm not going to call them. I haven't talked to them in a couple of years. No, they just bought a house. They're not going to. Have you ever done that? That's called call bias. Meaning we decide who does and doesn't need to hear from us based on what we tell ourselves. This system eliminates that. Now, the goal is obviously you want to work in asking for a referral, asking if they're ready to meet and discuss possibly an investment property or buying and selling, yet it doesn't have to be, but you have to talk to them. Okay? So when the next question you might be asking yourself is, well, what am I talking to them about? You can literally talk to them about anything, but I'll give you, when in doubt, not a good color. When in doubt, you forward them Does everyone know what that stands for? It's an acronym.
Family,
The F stands for family. O stands for occupation. R stands for recreation. Fun, okay? D stands for dreams or goals. And that's when an easy one to work in real estate. But again, we are not salespeople, we are consultants, which means you have to feel out the conversation and make sure that it's leading to be able to ask or to talk to them about real estate. Meaning, if I'm calling somebody this quarter that I haven't talked to in 3 years just to rekindle the relationship, I'm not going to ask them who they know if my goal is to just get back into relationship with them. I can ask them again next quarter, but you have to feel it out. Now, hear me when I say that doesn't mean you can never ask them. Because if you never ask people who they might know that you can help, the answer will always be no. And a lot of times we as real estate agents, we can have great conversation. People say all the time, oh, everybody thinks I should go into real estate because I like talking to people. I like meeting people. That's great. That's not going to make you a successful real estate agent. You have to ask for the business, right? If not from them, who they might know, and could I connect with them, right? So one suggestion is forward. The other one I have here, Keller Williams has written a playbook on it, and it's called Seasons of the Database, okay? And so if you're watching this recording, I will have that document in the comments. But this is seasons of the database. These are additional topics that you should be making sure you're talking to your database throughout the whole year. This guides you into making sure that your database is full, robust, has all the data we need in there, and that we're utilizing it at a high level. So which season are we currently in right now?
Summer.
And then
Which
fall.
season?
Fall.
Fall cleanup.
Yeah.
Fall cleanup is August 1 to October 31st. And so here's what we do during this season of our data bank. Decide what info you want to have on each person in your database. What are the 3 must-haves we must have for everybody in our database? Phone, email, and their address. We are in the business of homes. We need to know where everyone lives. We go to the doctor and we give them our social security number without blinking an eye. We need to know where these people live because that's our business, right? Nice to haves, birthday, their home anniversary, and Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Figure out where the holes are in the information in your data bank. Do you have their address but not their birthday? And then also create a list of everyone that should be in your database but isn't. So I say that to say, as you launch DTD2 here in the 3rd quarter, this is your guide of what to talk about. Ford and gathering data. Your goal should be every time you call someone who's in your database that you gather a new piece of data. You want those profiles to be completed to 100%. Where do they work? Now you don't have to go, you're not rattling it off like an interrogation. Where do you work? What's your birthday? What's your home? That's where the Ford comes in. Oh my goodness, how's work going? Oh yeah, where do you work again? Oh, that's right. Yeah, how long have you been there? Amazing, wonderful, right? That's data. Whatever they just told you, that is data that needs to be recorded in your database because you're building details and you're building relationship.
Can you, in this state, I don't know, Virginia, it's like, no, but in this state, can you record your sessions, your conversations so that you can later go back and review the notes so that you're more in the moment of the conversation as opposed to trying to write things down while the person's talking?
I would not do that because you have to tell people you're recording, and if you say that to me, I'm not going to talk with you. That could be just me, but I'm going to guess most people don't like that. What I typically did, because I can type while people are talking, yet I don't want them to hear the clack clack of my keys in the background. So I always had a separate notebook. I wrote their name, I wrote the date, and any conversations I had, I wrote little notes. You could even write Ford, F-O-R-D, down and write the answers next to those little letters as you talk about that. And then at the end of your call session, the last 30 minutes, you go through your database, you update all your notes in their contact card, and you set a follow-up task.
More friendly.
Yeah, so you're saying you have a notebook, like a little one, like a little 3-inch one or something for each person? And you're
No, I just have one notebook
one
that while I was lead generating, I wrote down notes, I wrote down points of interest data that I then transferred to my database, and I would check off with my pencil after I entered it in there. That's what I did. Some people type during it, but you don't want to record people. Okay. All right. So this gives you a guide of what to do. You are not hawking vacuums to these people on the phone. You have to talk to them to build relationship. That make sense? All right. So next I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you guys the schedule for the rest of 2023 and what the letters are. You're welcome. Okay. So we are in quarter 3. We are week
33.
32.
Yeah.
Right, today's the 9th, right? So we're on week F and G, which means, and ideally, you start this on Monday. So let's walk through what that looks like. First, I'm going to show you a short little video here. So what it's called is the 3-step approach. Okay, the 3-step approach. There's a system for everything. I'm gonna erase this. Need to research. Okay, so the 3-step approach. All right, let's start with next week. Next week are what 2 letters? M and X. Okay, M and X, which means everyone in your database whose last name starts with M or X is going to get a call from you this week. Everyone.
Okay.
All the M's, all the X's, last name. Okay, so Monday, I'm going to filter, and we're going to get into the command piece of this in just a few minutes. But on Monday, I'm going to filter by my M and X tag. And then I've got a whole list of who my last names are with M and X. Monday, I'm going to call them all. Let's say M and X aren't super, at least X isn't super popular. So let's say total there are 20 people in my database whose last names start with M or X. Okay? And of those 20, am I going to talk to 100% of them? They know. Nope. People work, people don't answer the phone, they don't know who you are, whatever. Okay? So I'm going to call all 20 though. Let's say I talk to 5, which means there are 15 that I did not talk to. These 5 that I talked to, I'm going to forward conversation them. I'm going to ask them 1 or 2 maybe pieces of data that I don't have. Maybe I don't have their address this time. Maybe I don't have their birthday. Yeah. Okay. And so as I'm forwarding them, I'm going to say, hey, you know what I just noticed? I don't have your birthday and I love to send out birthday cards. When's your birthday? Okay. So those 5 people, I'm going to take notes. I'm going to update my database. And then when I hang up at the end of my lead gen, I'm going to send all 5 of those a handwritten note thanking them for chatting with me. And I'm going to reference back a piece of info that we talked about. So if this person told me they were just getting ready to take a vacation to Italy at the end of the year and they're celebrating New Year's in Italy, in my little handwritten note, I'm going to say, I am so excited for your Italy trip. Can't wait to hear all about it. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me today. If I can ever do anything for you, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'm going to put my business card into that handwritten note and I'm going to mail it out. They're now going to think of me in 2 or 3 days when they open it. People love getting handwritten notes. Okay. I'm also on that Italian note. I'm also going to set a task for myself 2 or 3 days before she leaves for Italy, so that when I log in December, because I'm going to forget, when I log into my database in December and I pull up my task list, it's going to say, call Sam McDonald and tell her have fun on her trip. And I'm going to go, oh my gosh. And I'm going to call her or text her and go, have so much fun on her trip. That is follow-up. That is building relationship. Now, these 15 that I didn't talk to, what am I going to do? I'm going to leave a voicemail. This is Monday. I'm going to leave a voicemail. And it's extremely important that when you leave this voicemail, you make it obvious to them they do not need to call you back. If I leave a voicemail and I say, "Hi, Jeff, it's Erica Lindsey. Could you give me a call back, please, when you get a second?" What do you think when you hear that?
That you're obligated to call back.
That you're obligated to call back. We don't want to make them feel obligated to call back. Do we have anything urgent? No, we're just wanting to engage them in conversation. So my voicemail is going to sound like something like, "Hey, Jeff, it's Erica with Keller Williams. Hey, I'm so sorry that I missed you, yet I just wanted to say hi. I know you're super busy. No need to call me back. I'll give you a call later on in the week, see if I can't get you then. Have a great day." That's it. How do I pause? Pause. All right, we are back. So when we leave that voicemail, we do not want them to feel obligated to call us back, but we promise to call them back. Okay, everybody with me so far? So now I get to Tuesday. Right? Monday, I called 20. I spoke to 5. There were 15 left. What do you think I'm going to do on Tuesday? Who am I calling today? The 15.
Yeah.
That I didn't talk to. Okay. And this is tough. I'm going to give you the two scenarios. Okay. If you don't have a lot of people, like 20 people is not a lot for the week. So if this were me, if I left 15 voicemails, I'm probably not going to call back the next day. Now, if I had 50 people with the last names, and let's say I called 20 of them, then today I have 30 to call. Does that make sense? But in this scenario, and where I'm guessing where you might be, your databases aren't massive yet. They will be, but they're not yet, right? So I probably wouldn't call Tuesday. I would call back Wednesday. I would call these 15 again, maybe a different time, or maybe the same time again. And let's say I talk to another 5, which means there are 10 that I didn't talk to, right? These 5, I'm going to engage in a forward conversation. I'm going to collect any data I'm missing. I'm going to take notes, put it in my database, and then send a handwritten note. And these 10 that I didn't talk to, I am not going to leave a voicemail.
Oh, no.
Don't leave a second voicemail
Okay.
on this day.
Oh, when you dial them a second time.
Right. Okay. So the first time you call, leave a message. The second time you call, don't. All right. And then in this scenario, I'm not going to call Thursday. I'm going to call Friday for the last time that week. Now, remember, these are people in your database. You might not call them again for another 3 months. So it's not like you're blowing them up. All right, week after week after week. It's 1 week, 3 attempts. And then next quarter, they'll hear from you again. Okay. So on Friday in this scenario, I have 10 left. Let's say I have 5 that I spoke to, taking notes, having a forward conversation, updating their database. There's 5 left that I didn't talk to. And with this one, I'm going to leave one final voicemail for the quarter. And again, do I want them to feel obligated to call me? No, 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 right? So I'm going to leave one final voicemail and I'm going to say, hey, Fabiola, it's Erica with Keller Williams. I was just giving you one last shot for the week. Wanted to catch up and see how you've been doing. No need to call me back, but you know what? I'll keep in touch and you let me know if you need anything in the meantime.
Okay.
Have a great weekend.
Perfect. And close.
And that's it. Okay, these 5 are going to get a handwritten note from me. I'm going to update my database. And so at the end of the week, I go home and I know that I worked. Because of the 20 people that I had on my list, I talked to all but 5. And they heard my voice twice. Okay,
Can you take it a step further and do a handwritten note to the 5 you did not get?
of course. Yeah. Hope you're doing well. I wouldn't mention anything about I've tried to call you, like any of that, right?
You didn't say 5.
Yeah, I hope you're well. Please don't hesitate to let me know if you need anything. Can't wait to catch up with you. Put my card in it, mail it off, okay? Questions about the 3-step approach? All right.
I like to not leave a second voicemail because maybe it's very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's what I didn't account for in here. A lot of times they call you back anyway. And so when they call you back, then they go off your list. You don't have to call them anymore that week, right? So that used to happen a lot to me. They'd call me after they got off of work, or they'd call during the weekend or something like that. So in actuality, you could conceivably talk to everybody that was on your list. Okay. And then just to kind of reiterate that, I'm going to play this short little 1-minute thing. Yeah.
So with these people that you're trying to build rapport with, do you say something about this is Jeff, or do you say Jeff, your realtor at Keller Williams, or
I always, unless it was family or friends, I always identified myself as Erica Lindsey with Keller Williams Realty.
okay, all right, that seemed appropriate, but I wasn't sure.
But for some, form always follows fantasy. Porsche, driven by dreams.
Hey team, it's Jenny. I'm here with Steve Schlueter, one of the creators of
DTD2, Never Any Referrals.
Yeah.
Hey.
So
Yeah.
he's going to chat with you guys about how to best rock out our DTD2 system.
Say that 10 times.
No.
DTD2. Yeah. And so, hey, Wallet Group, Steve Schlueter. So here's the vital piece of the DTD2. It's the 3-attempt approach. So let's say you got 50 in your A&W group, and you're making your calls. Well, you call first on Monday, you call them all, and yet you only get hold of 15. Well, you make another attempt on Wednesday, well, and you touch base with another 10. Now you've talked out of 25 out of 50. Thursday evening, you call 5:30 to 7:30, a different time. Let's say you connect with, you've got 25 of the 50 left, you connect with another 10. So now you've talked to 35 out of 50 instead of 15 to 50.
Yeah.
Guys, this is playing efficiency. By the way, when you leave a message the first time, should you leave a message, always make it okay for them not to call you back. You never, so it's, hey, it's Steve. I had a quick little real estate update for you, or was checking in. Hey, no reason to call me back. I know you're really busy. I'll reach out to you here later in the week. And so when you call back, you're just keeping your promise. And so, and by the way, they tend to be anticipating your call. Your pickup rate goes up. So do the database too.
Yay, thanks Steve. Bye guys, see you later.
All right,
Going
so
into an office.
very casual video, yet reiterating again the 3-step 3-call approach. Okay, questions about that so far? All right, so what we're going to do the last 20 minutes is we're actually going to go into Command. So go ahead and log into Command. agent.kw.com. Let me know when you're there.
Yeah.
All right. We are going to go into our CRM, our database. What is it called? Contacts. Very easy name for it. We're going to go into contacts. Okay. See these tags here. What are tags?
Ways of identifying people into categories.
Yep. I think of them as like buckets, right? And so somebody, can they be in more than one bucket? Sure. People can be buyers and sellers. People can be buyers and sellers and from an open house. They can be a buyer, a seller, past customer. Like there can be a million buckets. Now, the benefit of tagging everyone in your database with as many tags as possible is that then you can filter really easily. So if every time I have a closing, I add a tag to that person in my database that says customer or sold 2023, then at the end of the year, if I wanted to do some sort of Christmas ornament to everyone who had bought a home with me that year or sold a home with me that year, I can filter by that sold this year. And then I've got my list, right? If I am holding an open house and I've tagged people with potential buyer, then every open house I have, I can filter by that tag and I can call 20 people from that list and invite them to my open house. And since I've taken detailed notes on them and I call Jim and I say, hey, Jim, it's Erica Lindsey with Keller Williams Realty. You and I met at an open house over in Pine Ridge. And I just wanted to say, hey, I'm holding another open house, not in Pine Ridge, it's in Bonita, but would love to see if you're in the neighborhood, if you'd be able to stop by. Can I count on seeing you? Right? It's just a touch. And so if I have people labeled, it makes it really easy. It's very easy to create tags. So I wanted you to see where the tags are, okay? And we're gonna go up to where your name is, click the down button. Okay, and we're going to go to settings. Once you're in settings, you're going to go on the left and you're going to click on connect settings. Nope. Command settings, and then you're going to click on contacts. Command settings, contacts, and then click on contact tags. Okay. You with me so far? Good. We're going to come over here, and what we're going to do first is we need to create our 13 tags. 26 letters of the alphabet put into groups of 2 equals 13 tags. So I want you to use your document here, and we're just going to go through and create these tags. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click create tag, and I'm going to type A and W. You can make it whatever color you want if you want a color, and then I click create. Boom. Done. Never have to do it again. Now mine says it already exists because I've already got people tagged in my database. But for you, it will probably go through. So go ahead and take about 2 minutes and create all your tags. All right. So now that we've created all of our tags, our next step is to put everyone already in our database on one of these tags. Now, this is the one time you have to bulk add if you've never done it before, But as you move forward, everybody who goes into your database gets a DTD2 tag. It's much easier to do it one at a time than bulk every 5 months or so. Because then you're like, well, who doesn't have this tag? Now you got to figure it out. Now you're scrolling through your thing. So if you just start from this day forward, tagging everybody that goes into your database with one of your DTD2 tags, next quarter, they're going to pop up on your list you pull up when it's their week. Okay, so let's go ahead and bulk add. So we're going to go back into contacts, which is our CRM, our database. Okay. And we are, we're going to start with A and W. Now, notice it says here, show 1 to 10, which means on this screen, there's only 10 people showing in my database. Well, I have 8,000 people in here. So I want to show more than 10 at a time. So I'm going to click this and I'm going to show 100 contacts at a time. All right, which means I'll be able to scroll a lot longer. The next thing I'm going to do is nope, not filter. Oh, I'm going to click on name. All right. When I click on name, 4 options pop up. I can sort them by first name A to Z, last name Z to A. So since our first tag is A and W, I'm going to sort by last name A to Z, which means everybody with a last name that starts with A is going to be first. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to look and see, when do my A's end? When do my A's end? If it goes all the way through 50 here, which it looks like it might. Yep. So I've got at least 50 people that start with the letter A as their last name. I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to select all. See how this box, when you select this box, it's going to select all. When I do that, I selected 100 people. So I've got at least 100 people in my database whose last names start with A. When I select this box comes up where I can select bulk action. So I'm going to click on that and look what it says, add tags. So now I'm bulk tagging these 100 people. And when I start to type the tag that says A and W, like I typed it, like I created it, it pops up. I'm going to click the tag. And then when I hit this, it's going to tag them all with A and W. So go ahead and do that. Yep.
That's sweet. Split that.
So part of your homework, your very first thing you have to do is go through your entire database and put everyone on one of these 13 tags. That's the first step. Okay. Don't just do A and W's and then start calling, because guess what happens? You forget. You forget. Okay. That's step 1. Tag everyone. Step 2. Is to put them on a smart plan that will remind you what week it is. Okay? So you have a couple of options with this because we don't want to have to remember. We want our technology to tell us what to do. So I'm going to go to Smart Plans. And I'm going to go, I went to Smart Plans. If you ever don't know what one's called, you can click this red box and the names will come out. And I'm going to search DTD2. And when I'm in the library and I search DTD2, I'm going to get 231 results. Okay. One of the things that's pretty cool is someone went in here and created a smart plan for all 13 of the tags. This guy, Matthew. So you've got A and W, you've got B and E, you've got D and O, you've got all the tags that you can just add smart plan to your library. Okay. And then remember how we filtered by A and W? What I can do now, first you have to add all of these to your library. They have to be in my smart plans. So in order to do that, I just click add smart plan. It's going to make you rewrite it, or you just keep it the same. You click download. And now it's going to be here in my smart plans. You can't just go in and type in a smart plan. You have to add it to your library first. Does that make sense? Okay.
My smart plans is our library.
That's your library. You got it, right? So when I do that, after I download all 13 of these tags, I'm going to go back into my contacts. And I'm going to filter by A and W. A and W. There they are. When I do this and I click apply, boom, now I've got a list of all my A and W's because you've already tagged them. Okay. And now what I'm going to do, I've got 80 of them. I'm going to select this box again. Okay. Now, oh, it's only got 10 per page. See how it's got 10? So I'm going to change this to 100 and select it now because now it's selected all 80. And I'm going to bulk add to smart plan. And here's your A and W. And I want to start them all at the same time. Now, A and W isn't now. A and W isn't this week. When is the next A and W?
Fourth quarter, week 40, October 2nd.
October 2nd. That's when I want it to start. So I'm going to click this second one, start all on, and I'm going to go to October 2nd. Confirm. So now, where does this show up? Where is it going to tell me to call these people on October 2nd? Where do I see that?
On your desk, on your command page.
In tasks.
Task.
Yep. This
Your
is
dashboard.
like, this is your to-do list. This is where you tell yourself what to do in the future, so that you can get it out of your head and let future Jeff and Fabiola remember that. Okay. Now this task list doesn't work if you are not in command every day. It gets to where when you set follow-ups for every person that you talk to, eventually you will get to the point where you go to your desk in the morning, you open up command, you go to your task list, and you will have 20 or 30 things to do to lead generate that day. Cool, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you don't start the system and if you don't set the tasks,
Yeah.
every day you log in and you go, what do I do today?
Yes.
Well, we know December 15th, I'm going to log in and I'm going to talk to this lady about her trip to Italy. And then maybe October 2nd, I'm going to log in and I'm going to have all my A's and W's to call for the quarter. But unless you start setting tasks, you'll never get to that point. It'll always just be, who have I forgotten? Who do I need to call? What do I need to do? And that's a chaotic place to live in. Okay, so step 1 is tag everyone. Step 2 is smart plan everyone. And then, do you guys use Google Calendar?
Yeah, but I just switched over to the iPhone or the Apple calendar. I have a feed into the,
That's fine.
yeah.
Whichever calendar you want to use. So here's what I used to do with my calendar as well, right? If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist, correct?
Right.
So what I used to do, let's see, let's start fresh on Monday. Next week is what letters? M and X, right? So what I do here is I create an event. Oop, I'm gonna move that to Monday. I create an event and I name it M and X. I name it for the week. I'm going to repeat every day. Ends after. No, what am I doing?
Repeat
Repeats every
3 months.
3 months. Actually, you know what I want to do? Every 13 weeks. I want to do weeks.
That's
Yep.
probably smarter.
Repeat every 13 weeks. All right. On Monday, never stopping. And I'm going to make it an all-day event because what it does, you see how it pops up here to the top? Okay, so it pops up here to the top when you make it all day, instead of taking my valuable calendar time. Okay, you can make it a fancy color, whatever's going to pop out to you. And then I'm going to go to next week and I'm going to do the same thing. What's next? The week after is N and R. So I'm going to say N and R. I'm going to make it all day. And then I'm going to make it repeat after 13 weeks. You'll only have to do this once,
It'll be forever.
right? And it'll be forever. 828 is SNU. I'm going to go in and do that. Okay. So this, in order to set it up and be ready to go for Monday, these are the 3 steps. You got to tag everyone, you smart plan everyone, and then you label calendar with your letters. Now, I'm going to add a 4th step that's the most important one. You need to put the 3-call approach in your calendar. And this is what mine would look like. If you are a full-time realtor, what should be your hours of lead generation? 9 to 11, 9 to noon minimum. You don't have as much business as you want. Why aren't you doing it 8 hours a day? Okay. So I'm going to go in on every Monday and I'm going to do from 9 to noon, 9 to 11, whatever. Okay. And I'm going to put in first call to DTD2 tags. Remember, this is the 3-call approach. So I go in there and I call it first call to DTD2 tags.
3 hour.
It could be 2 hour, it could be 3 hour. If you only have 7 people in there that have those letters, you gotta find other things to do for the rest of your lead gen time, right?
Right.
Because as full-time realtors, we should be talking to no fewer than 10 people a day, 5 days a week. Right? But this is lead gen. This is lead gen. Now on Wednesday, I'm gonna do the same thing and I'm gonna put second call to DTD2 tags. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna repeat this. So that I don't have to do it every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, weekly on Monday. I'm gonna repeat this one weekly on Wednesday. And then I'm gonna do this one. Third call. And you know what? If I can't remember, I might put on there on Mondays, I might put in the description, leave a voicemail. On Wednesday, I might put, don't leave a voicemail. On Friday, I might put, leave a final voicemail. Until it becomes habit. Once it becomes habit, you guys are gonna wake up every morning and go, know what I'm doing today? It's freeing. Okay? Your database is your business. If you do not build it, communicate with it, nurture it, and add to it, you're gonna have a hard time. Okay, and think about it, when you retire or you decide if you ever want to get out of real estate, what would you sell? Other businesses, if I'm selling my pizza parlor, I can sell the equipment. I might be able to sell my name, right? The only thing I can sell as a realtor, well, there's several things, but your most valuable thing you can sell is your database. So if you don't build it and feed it and build relationship with it, what have you got to sell? Nobody wants your laptop. This is if you get out of real estate.
Right, yeah.
You can't sell your homes.
Yeah.
Someone else can. But unless you have a database of relationships of people that think of you, okay?
How does that work? I mean, let's say you do it for 30 years, you're still in the same neighborhood. You meet all these people because you've been doing that for 30 years, then all of a sudden